My father calls at midnight and tells me not to go home. I'm standing on my porch with my keys already out. When the police break down my door, they find him waiting for me. I used to think safety was something you could lock behind a door. Now I know the most dangerous threats study your routine until they become invisible. But the person who helped him, they were hiding in plain sight the whole time. The phone rings at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'm 3 blocks from home. My headlights cut through the empty suburban streets. The grocery bags shift in my passenger seat with every turn. I've made this drive 1,000 times. Same route, same time, always Tuesday after my late yoga class. I glance at the screen, Dad. He never calls this late. I answer through the car speaker, Hey, everything okay? His voice comes through tight, controlled. Emily, where are you right now? Almost home, like 2 minutes away. Why? Listen to me very carefully. He pauses, I hear him breathing. Do not go into your house. My foot eases off the gas. What? Do not go home, drive to a public place, a gas station, anywhere with people and lights, do it now. The street lights blur past, my heart kicks against my ribs. Dad, you're scaring me. I know, I'm sorry, but I need you to trust me right now. Are you driving away from your house? I make a U-turn at the next intersection. My hands shake on the wheel. Yes, I'm turning around. What's happening? I'm calling the police. Stay on the phone with me. The grocery bags tip over. An apple rolls under my brake pedal. I don't care. Dad, please tell me what's going on. Someone's been watching you, Emily. Someone's been inside your house. The air leaves my lungs. I pull into a 7-Eleven parking lot. The fluorescent lights burn through my windshield. 2 other cars sit near the entrance. A teenager pumps gas. Everything looks normal, safe, but my hands won't stop shaking. How do you know? My voice cracks. Your security camera, the one you installed last month after the break-ins on your street. You gave me access, remember? I couldn't sleep tonight, so I was checking on things. Emily, there's someone in your living room right now. I think I'm going to be sick. The teenager finishes pumping gas and goes inside. I watch him buy a soda. He has no idea that my entire world just fractured. Did you call 911? I ask. They're on their way. They told me to keep you on the line, to make sure you stay away. I lean my forehead against the steering wheel. The horn doesn't sound. I'm not pressing hard enough. I'm not pressing anything. I'm frozen. How long has someone been in there? I don't know. I've been watching for maybe 10 minutes. He's just sitting on your couch in the dark, waiting. My couch, where I sit every night, where I fall asleep watching Netflix, where I felt safe. What does he look like? I can't see details. The camera quality isn't great in low light. But Emily, he's not moving. He's just sitting there, like he knows your schedule, like he's been there before. The parking lot lights hum above me. A moth beats against the glass. These small, normal things feel impossible now. I was about to walk in. My voice sounds far away. I was about to unlock my door and walk right to him. I know, Dad's voice breaks. I know, sweetheart. We sit in silence. Him in his house 2 states away. Me in a convenience store parking lot, watching strangers buy cigarettes and lottery tickets. The distance between us feels enormous and meaningless at the same time. The police are there, Dad says. I can see their lights on the camera. Can you still see him? No, he must have heard them coming. Wait, they're going in. Emily, they're breaking down your front door. I should be there. It's my house, my life. But I'm trapped here in this parking lot, listening to my father watch strangers raid my home. They have him, Dad says. His voice floods with relief. They're bringing someone out in handcuffs. I close my eyes. The image burns behind my eyelids. A stranger in my house, on my couch, waiting for me in the dark. You can go home now, Dad says. But maybe don't go home. Come stay with us for a while, please. I need to talk to the police. They'll want to talk to you too. But Emily, I need you to understand something. If I hadn't been awake, if I hadn't checked that camera, if I hadn't called. He doesn't finish. He doesn't need to. But the worst part, I was about to thank him and hang up. The police are still there when I arrive 20 minutes later. 4 cruisers, lights spinning. My neighbors stand on their porches in bathrobes and pajamas. Mrs. Chen from next door clutches her terrier. The Johnsons film everything on their phones. A female officer approaches me, Detective Sarah Pierce. She's younger than I expected, maybe 35, dark hair pulled back, kind eyes that have seen too much. Ms. Carter, I'm glad you're safe. What happened? Who was he? Let's talk inside. Your father did the right thing calling when he did. My front door hangs crooked on its hinges. They had to force it open. The frame is splintered. Wood chips scatter across my welcome mat. Inside, everything looks normal and completely wrong at the same time. My couch sits where it always does. The throw pillows I arranged this morning haven't moved. But now I know someone else sat here, touched these things, breathed this air. Detective Pierce guides me to my kitchen table. We don't sit on the couch. His name is Marcus Webb, she says. Does that name mean anything to you? I shake my head. She pulls out her phone and shows me a photo. A man, mid-30s, brown hair, ordinary face. The kind of person you'd pass on the street and forget immediately. Never seen him. Are you sure? He might have been a customer somewhere you work, or shop. I study the photo again. Nothing, I'm sure. Detective Pierce sets her phone down. We found some things in his backpack. I need to prepare you for this, Emily. He had photos of you. The kitchen tilts slightly. Photos from outside your house. Photos of you leaving for work, coming home, at the grocery store, the gym, coffee shops. She pauses. There are at least 50 different photos spanning the last 2 months. 2 months. He's been watching me for 2 months. There's more, Detective Pierce continues. He had a detailed notebook. Your schedule is written out. What time you leave for work, when you come home, your Tuesday yoga class, your Thursday dinner with friends, even what you typically order at your regular restaurants. My stomach turns. I press my hand against the table to steady myself. We also found a knife and zip ties and duct tape. The room goes very quiet. Ms. Carter, your father's phone call likely saved your life tonight. I nod. I can't speak. I know this is overwhelming, but I need to ask you some questions while the details are fresh. Can you think of anyone who might have given him information about you? Anyone who knows your schedule that well? My friends, my coworkers, that's about it. What do you do for work? I'm a graphic designer. I work remotely mostly, but I go into the office downtown twice a week. And your coworkers, do you socialize with them? Sometimes coffee breaks, occasional happy hours, nothing regular. Detective Pierce writes notes on a small pad. We'll need a list of names, people who know your routine, people who might have access to your personal information. You think someone I know helped him. I think Marcus Webb knew too much. Security cameras, alarm systems, your car, your work schedule, that level of detail usually comes from somewhere. And suddenly, everyone I trust becomes a suspect. They process my house like a crime scene. Because that's what it is. A crime scene where the crime almost happened, past and future tense colliding in my living room. Fingerprint dust coats my doorknobs. My couch cushions sit askew where they checked for evidence. The police photographer documents everything. Each flash illuminates the space I used to call safe. I can't stay here tonight, can't stay here ever maybe. I pack a bag while an officer watches. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop, I move through the rooms mechanically. This doesn't feel like my house anymore. It feels like a stage set. A place Marcus Webb studied and memorized. We're done here, Detective Pierce says, but we'll need you to come to the station tomorrow to make a full statement. Can you do that? And yes. And Emily, change your routine, all of it. Different grocery store, different gym, different routes to work. Assume he knows everything about your old patterns. He's in custody though, right? He is, but we don't know if he was working alone. Until we're certain, you need to be careful. The implication settles over me like ice water. I drive to my best friend Rachel's apartment. She answers the door in sweats, her face creased with worry. She already knows. I texted her from the police station parking lot. Oh my God, Em, she pulls me into a hug. I stand there, I don't cry, I don't shake. I just stand there feeling nothing and everything at once. Rachel makes tea I don't drink. She sets up her guest room with fresh sheets and extra pillows. She doesn't ask questions. She just exists next to me, solid and real, while I try to process what almost happened. At 3 a.m., I finally check my security camera app. The footage is there, time-stamped, 11:43 p.m. Marcus Webb enters my house through the back door. He uses a key I never gave him. He moves through my kitchen like he's been there before. He sits on my couch. He checks his phone. He waits. At 11:47 p.m., my phone rings, Dad calling. At 11:52 p.m., Marcus Webb's head snaps toward the window. He hears something. Sirens, probably. At 11:53 p.m., he runs. At 11:54 p.m., police lights flood my living room. I watch this loop 3 times before I close the app. But what I don't know yet, the key he used, someone gave it to him. The next morning, I make my statement at the police station. Detective Pierce walks me through every detail. When did I first feel unsafe? Had I noticed anyone following me? Any strange phone calls or messages? No. Marcus Webb has a record, she tells me. Breaking and entering, stalking. He served 2 years for assaulting an ex-girlfriend. He's been out for 6 months. How did he find me? We're still investigating that, but Emily, I need to be honest with you. His pattern suggests escalation. The photography, the notebook, the weapons, this wasn't going to end with him just watching. I already know this, but hearing it out loud makes it real. What happens now? He's being charged with breaking and entering, stalking, possession of burglary tools, and attempted kidnapping. Given his record, he's looking at serious time. But the trial won't be for months, and that's if he doesn't take a plea deal. So he could get out. Not likely. His bail is set high, and given the circumstances, I doubt he'll make it, but we've seen surprises before. I sign the statement, my signature looks shaky, childlike. One more thing, Detective Pierce says. The key he used to enter your house, it was a copy. A recent copy, based on the machine marks. Do you know if anyone has access to your spare keys? Just my landlord, and my friend Rachel, but she would never. We have to check everything. What about work? Did you ever leave your keys anywhere someone could access them? My office, the shared workspace where I go twice a week. Keys on my desk, in my bag, in my coat pocket hanging by the door. Maybe, I say quietly. We'll need to talk to your coworkers, all of them. And suddenly, my office feels as unsafe as my home. I don't go back to my house for a week. The landlord repairs the door, changes all the locks, installs better cameras and motion sensors. He keeps apologizing like this is somehow his fault. No one should feel unsafe in their own home, he says. But I do, even with new locks and cameras and Rachel sleeping on my couch for 3 nights straight. Even with Detective Pierce's reassurance that Marcus Webb sits in a cell awaiting trial. Because someone helped him. Someone gave him that key. Someone told him my schedule, my routines, my life. And that person is still out there. The police interview everyone at my office, all 12 people in my design team, plus the building security, the cleaning staff, anyone with potential access. I watch from home through video calls. Each coworker's face appears on my laptop screen, concerned, sympathetic, shocked. One of them is lying. Emily, I'm so sorry this happened, says Jordan, my project lead. If there's anything I can do, offers Melissa from accounting. We're all here for you, adds Chris, the junior designer. Their words blur together, kind, meaningless, because one of them knows more than they're saying. Detective Pierce calls me 3 days later. We've cleared most of your coworkers. Their alibis check out, and none of them had direct contact with Marcus Webb, but we're still investigating one person, someone who left the company 2 months ago. My mind races through former coworkers. Who? Jessica Hammond. She worked in HR before she was terminated for cause. Do you remember her? Jessica, quiet Jessica who always ate lunch alone, who got fired after an internal audit revealed she'd been accessing employee files without authorization. I remember her, but we barely spoke. She had access to everyone's personal information: home addresses, emergency contacts, security access codes. And Emily, we found something interesting. Jessica and Marcus Webb have mutual connections on social media. They were both part of the same online community. The pieces shift into place. What kind of community? One we're still investigating, but it appears to focus on surveillance techniques, tracking people, gathering information. My skin goes cold. Jessica provided him with everything he needed, Detective Pierce continues. Your address, your schedule, your security setup. We found message exchanges between them going back 3 months. She was selling information, yours and potentially others. Can you arrest her? We're working on it, but she's disappeared. Cleared out her apartment 2 weeks ago. We've issued a warrant, but she's in the wind. So Marcus Webb sits in jail, but his accomplice walks free. I become obsessed. Every night I search Jessica Hammond's social media. Her accounts are deactivated, but cached pages remain. Photos from 2 years ago, check-ins at coffee shops and bars, comments from friends who probably don't know what she's done. One profile picture shows her at a company party. She's standing in the background, barely visible, but I'm in that photo too, smiling, unaware. Rachel finds me at 2 a.m., laptop open, eyes burning. You need to sleep. She's out there, she helped him, and she's just living her life somewhere. The police will find her. Will they? She's gone, completely gone, and Marcus Webb isn't talking. Detective Pierce says he won't give up any information about her, some kind of twisted loyalty. Rachel sits next to me on the couch. This isn't healthy. You're not a detective. You're a graphic designer who's been through trauma. I can't just do nothing. You're not doing nothing. You're surviving. You're healing. That's not nothing. But it feels like nothing. Marcus Webb took away my safety. Jessica Hammond enabled him. And I'm supposed to just move on, repaint my living room, and pretend the man on my couch never existed. No. I start digging deeper. Jessica's employment records are sealed, but I know people who know people. A former coworker from HR gives me details off the record. Jessica wasn't just accessing files. She was building dossiers, detailed profiles of employees, information no one should have. She creeped everyone out, my contact tells me over coffee. Always asking personal questions, always watching. When they finally audited her computer, they found files on at least 30 employees. Yours was one of the most complete. 30 people, 30 potential victims. Did the company report this? They fired her quietly, wanted to avoid the scandal. Stupid, I know, but corporate lawyers advised against going public. So she walked away, found Marcus Webb online, sold my information, nearly got me killed. And no one stopped her. But I'm about to change that. I hire a private investigator. His name is Robert Chen, former police detective who now traces people for insurance fraud cases and custody battles. He comes recommended by a lawyer Rachel knows. We meet in his office above a dry cleaner. The space smells like pressing starch and old coffee. His desk is cluttered with file folders and post-it notes. What do you want from this? He asks after I explain everything. I want to find Jessica Hammond. The police are already looking for her. The police have limited resources, and Jessica isn't their priority anymore. Marcus Webb is in custody. The immediate threat is over, but she's still out there, still potentially selling information to other stalkers, other Marcus Webbs. Robert leans back in his chair. So this is about justice. This is about making sure she can't do this again. He studies me for a long moment. That'll run you about $2,000 for a basic trace, more if she's actively hiding, and I can't guarantee results. I don't need guarantees, I need someone actually looking. We shake hands. 3 weeks later, Robert calls with news. Found her. She's in Phoenix using her sister's address, working under the table at a medical billing company. No official employment records, but I verified her identity through surveillance. Phoenix, the city where she has no history, no connections to her old life. She thinks she's safe, Robert continues. She's using her real name socially, going to yoga classes, has a regular coffee shop. She's not hiding anymore. She thinks everyone forgot. Can you send me everything? Already did. Check your email. Photos, work address, daily routine, everything you need. I open my laptop. The email arrives as we speak. Photos of Jessica walking into her office building, sitting at a coffee shop, shopping for groceries, living a normal life. The life I can't have anymore because of her. And that's when I realize I don't want revenge, I want exposure. I spend 2 days building a website. It's what I do: graphic design, clean layouts, user friendly interfaces, except this time I'm designing something that will destroy someone's life. The domain, jessicahammondtruth.com. The content, everything. Her photo, her real name, her employment history, the HR violations, her connection to Marcus Webb, screenshots of their messages that Detective Pierce shared with me, the police warrant for her arrest. I don't editorialize, I don't exaggerate, I just present facts. Clean, professional, devastating. At the bottom, a simple message. Jessica Hammond sold my personal information to a stalker who broke into my home with a weapon. She is currently evading a police warrant. If you recognize this woman, please contact Phoenix Police Department with any information. I don't publish it immediately. Instead, I send the link to her employer, to her sister's address, to her coffee shop, to her yoga studio. I send it everywhere she goes. And then I wait. 48 hours later, Jessica Hammond's sister calls me. Take down the website, she demands. You're ruining her life. She nearly ended mine. Jessica made mistakes, but she's trying to start over. She doesn't deserve this public shaming. I keep my voice level, calm. She sold my home address and security information to a stalker. She enabled someone who planned to hurt me. That's not a mistake, that's a crime. The police already know where she is. You contacted them, right? I did, 3 days ago. They're processing the extradition paperwork. But in the meantime, every woman in Phoenix deserves to know who Jessica is and what she's capable of. Please, her sister's voice cracks. She's my family. She endangered me. She endangered potentially 30 other people. I'm sorry she's your sister, but I'm someone's daughter, someone's friend, and I matter too. The line goes quiet. She's going to lose her job, her sister says finally. Good. I hang up. The website goes live publicly that evening. Within 24 hours, it's been shared across social media. Local Phoenix news picks up the story. A journalist interviews me remotely. I sit in Rachel's apartment, wearing a simple sweater, speaking clearly about what happened. This isn't about revenge, I tell the camera. This is about accountability. Jessica Hammond violated her position of trust. She sold personal information that nearly got me killed. And when she was caught, she ran. People deserve to know who she is. They deserve to protect themselves. The interview airs that night. By morning, Jessica Hammond loses her under-the-table job. Her yoga studio bans her. Her coffee shop asks her not to return. The medical billing company issues a statement condemning her actions. She becomes visible, exposed, accountable. 3 days later, Phoenix police arrest her at her sister's house. Detective Pierce calls me with the news. Jessica Hammond is in custody. She's being extradited back here to face charges: unauthorized access to private information, identity fraud, conspiracy to commit stalking. She's looking at 5 to 10 years. Thank you for telling me. Emily, I need to ask, the website, was that you? And yes. You know that could complicate the prosecution. Everything on that site is factual. Public record information and details you shared with me as part of the investigation. I broke no laws. She's quiet for a moment. You're right, you didn't, and honestly, that website probably saved us months of legwork. She was hiding effectively. Your exposure forced her into the open. So you're not upset? I'm not anything. I'm a cop. I deal with facts. The fact is, Jessica Hammond is in custody because you refuse to be a passive victim. Some people might judge that. I'm not one of them. But the story isn't over yet. The preliminary hearings begin 6 weeks later. Marcus Webb pleads not guilty. His public defender argues that he never physically harmed anyone, that breaking and entering with intent is not attempted murder, that the weapons in his bag were for self-defense. I sit in the courtroom and listen to this fiction. Jessica Hammond's hearing happens separately. She pleads guilty to lesser charges in exchange for testimony against Marcus Webb. She admits to providing him with information, but she claims she didn't know what he planned to do with it. I thought he was an ex-boyfriend trying to reconnect, she tells the judge. I thought I was helping someone find closure. The lie is so smooth, so practiced. Detective Pierce testifies, shows the message exchanges, the detailed surveillance notes, the payment receipts. Jessica Hammond charged Marcus Webb $800 for my complete profile. This wasn't about helping someone find closure, Detective Pierce says. This was a transaction. Ms. Hammond knew exactly what she was selling and why. The judge denies bail, sets a trial date for both defendants. I walk out of the courthouse feeling hollow. Rachel meets me on the steps. How do you feel? I'm empty. That's normal. Is it? I thought I'd feel something. Relief or anger or satisfaction, but I just feel tired. Because this is the middle of the story, not the end. The real end comes when you decide you're done carrying this around. We drive back to her apartment in silence. That night, I dream about my father's phone call. In the dream, I don't answer. I walk into my dark house. I see Marcus Webb sitting on my couch. He stands, he moves toward me, and I wake up gasping. Rachel appears in the doorway. Same dream. A same dream. You should talk to someone, a therapist. As I know. But I don't, not yet, because talking means admitting that this broke something in me, that the Emily who existed before that midnight phone call is gone, that I'm someone different now. Someone harder, someone who builds websites to expose people, someone who can't sleep without checking security cameras first. And then Marcus Webb escapes. The call comes from Detective Pierce at 6 a.m. on a Thursday. Emily, I need you to listen carefully. Marcus Webb escaped from the county jail transport van this morning. He overpowered a guard during a medical transfer. We have units searching, but I need you to go somewhere safe right now. My blood turns to ice. Where? Anywhere he doesn't know. Not Rachel's apartment. He could have researched your friends, not your parents. He probably has their address. A hotel? Pay cash. Don't use your credit cards. Call me when you're secure. I'm already dressing, throwing clothes into a bag. My hands shake so badly I can barely zip it. Rachel drives me to a hotel 40 minutes away. We check in under her name. Pay cash like Detective Pierce said. The room is generic and beige and smells like industrial cleaner. I'm staying, Rachel says. You don't have to. I'm staying. We sit on the hotel beds and wait. My phone rings constantly. Detective Pierce with updates. My parents calling from 2 states away, terrified. Robert Chen, my private investigator, offering to help. Marcus Webb is escalating, Detective Pierce tells me. His escape was planned. Someone helped him. We're investigating the guard who was supposed to be watching him. Jessica. Possibly. We're looking into whether they communicated before her arrest. The hours crawl past. At 3 p.m., my phone rings with an unknown number. I shouldn't answer. Every instinct screams not to, but I do. Hello. Emily, his voice is soft, almost kind. I'm not going to hurt you. Marcus Webb. My entire body goes rigid. I just wanted to explain, he continues. I never meant to scare you. I just wanted to know you, to be near you. That's not a crime. Breaking into my house is a crime. I would have left before you got home. I always planned to leave, but your father called the police. They didn't give me a chance to explain. He sounds so reasonable, so calm, like we're discussing a minor misunderstanding. Where are you? I ask. Somewhere safe, somewhere I can think. Emily, we could have been friends, if you'd just talked to me, if you'd given me a chance. You had zip ties and a knife. For protection, the world is dangerous, you know that now. My hand finds Rachel's arm. She's already calling 911 on her phone. Marcus, you need to turn yourself in. I need you to understand that this wasn't about violence. This was about connection. You just never saw me. I see you now. Do you? Or do you just see what the police told you to see? His voice shifts, gets harder. I know where you are, Emily. I've always known where you are. That hotel in Windsor, room 237, I can see your rental car in the parking lot. My vision tunnels. How? Because I'm better at this than you think. Better than the police think. And Jessica? She taught me everything before she got caught. All her tricks, all her methods. The line goes dead. Rachel and I run. We don't pack, don't check out. We just run to the car and drive. My hands shake so hard I can barely grip the steering wheel. He knew where we were, Rachel gasps. How did he know? He's tracking us somehow. Phone, car, I don't know. We drive to the police station. Park in the visitor lot surrounded by cruisers. Detective Pierce meets us at the entrance. He called me, I say. He knew where we were, he knew the hotel, the room number, everything. Did you use your credit card? No, Rachel paid cash. Your phone. I had it the whole time, unless I stop, unless he's tracking it somehow. Detective Pierce takes my phone, hands it to a tech officer. We'll check for spyware. In the meantime, you're staying here. We have secure rooms for witnesses. You'll be safe. But I don't feel safe anymore. I don't think I ever will. The spyware analysis takes 3 hours. They find it buried in an app I downloaded 2 months ago. A fitness tracker. Popular, legitimate looking, except the version I installed wasn't from the official app store. It was a modified version designed to harvest data. How did I get this version? I ask. The tech officer pulls up the installation log. Someone sent you a link. You clicked it and installed it manually. I don't remember that. Check your text messages, emails. Somewhere there's a message with the original link. We scroll through my message history together. There, 3 months ago, a text from an unknown number. Hey, saw you at yoga class. Thought you might like this fitness app way better than the one you're using. Download link, URL. I installed it without thinking. Because why would I question a friendly text? Because people recommend apps all the time. Marcus Webb sent this, I say. Or Jessica Hammond, the tech officer replies. Either way, they've been tracking your location for 3 months. Every place you go, every route you take. This is how Marcus knew you'd be home that Tuesday night. He was watching your location in real time. My stomach turns. Can you remove it? Already done, but Emily, you should probably get a new phone. New number, start completely fresh. I get a new phone that afternoon. New number that I give only to Detective Pierce, my parents, and Rachel. No apps except essential ones. No social media. No location services. I become a ghost. Marcus Webb surfaces 2 days later. Not because police find him, because he posts on social media. A long, rambling message about misunderstood love and persecution, about how society criminalizes connection, about how he's the real victim in this story. Emily Carter destroyed my life, he writes. I never hurt her, I never would have hurt her, but she called the police. She made me into a monster, and now everyone treats me like I'm dangerous. The post includes photos of me from his collection. Me leaving my house, me at yoga, me at the grocery store. This is the woman who ruined everything, his post continues. This is who you should fear, not me, her. The post is shared hundreds of times before the platform removes it. But screenshots live forever. My phone explodes with messages from people I haven't spoken to in years, asking if I'm okay, asking if the post is real, asking questions I don't want to answer. Detective Pierce calls. We're using the post to trace his location. The metadata shows he's still in the area. And Emily, he's getting desperate. Desperate people make mistakes. Or they do something terrible. We're going to find him, I promise you that. But promises don't stop someone who has nothing left to lose. I decide to set a trap. Robert Chen thinks I'm crazy. Detective Pierce says it's too dangerous. Rachel physically tries to stop me from leaving the police station. But I'm done hiding. He's tracking me, right? I tell them. He knows where I go. What if I go somewhere he can't resist? He's evading capture, Detective Pierce says. He's not going to risk exposure just to see you. You don't understand him the way I do. This isn't about exposure anymore. This is about proving something. He needs me to know he's not dangerous. He needs me to see him as misunderstood. That's insane. Exactly, which is why it'll work. We plan it carefully. I post on social media for the first time in weeks. A photo of my childhood home, my parents' house 2 states away. Taking time to heal with family, the caption reads, grateful for their support. I add location tags, make the post public. Then I drive there, alone or apparently alone. Because Rachel follows in a separate car, Robert Chen positions himself down the street, and Detective Pierce coordinates with local police to set up surveillance. My parents aren't actually home, they're staying with my aunt until this is over, but Marcus Webb doesn't know that. I park in the driveway at sunset, the house sits quiet, familiar. I unlock the front door with the spare key Dad left me, turn on lights in the kitchen and living room, move through the house like I'm settling in for the night. Then I wait. Rachel watches from her car 3 houses down. Robert Chen sits in an unmarked van across the street. Police officers position themselves around the perimeter. At 9:47 p.m., a figure approaches the house. Marcus Webb walks up the driveway like he's visiting a friend, casual, unhurried. He knocks on the front door. My blood freezes. Emily, I know you're in there, I just want to talk. That's all, just talk. Through the window, I see him clearly. He looks different from his mugshot. Thinner, wilder, his clothes are wrinkled, he hasn't shaved in days. I'm not angry, he calls through the door. I understand why you called the police. You were scared, but I'm not scary, Emily. If you just open the door, I can prove it to you. Detective Pierce's voice crackles through my earpiece. Keep him talking, we're moving into position. My hand trembles as I approach the door. I don't open it, just speak through the wood. Marcus, you need to leave. See, we're talking, this is good. This is what I wanted all along. The police are coming. I don't think so. You wouldn't have come here if you were going to call them. You want to understand, I can see it. You need to know why. His voice sounds so gentle, so reasonable, it's terrifying. Why did you break into my house? To wait for you, to finally have a real conversation. Not stolen moments watching from a distance. Not photos and notes, a real connection. With zip ties and a knife. Those were, he pauses, those were in case you panicked, in case you tried to run before you understood. I never wanted to use them, I just needed you to listen. Through the window, I see police moving into position, silent shadows converging on the driveway. Marcus, what did you think would happen? That I'd just accept you breaking into my home? I thought you'd see how much effort I put in, how much I learned about you, how perfectly compatible we are. That's not compatibility, that's stalking. Society's word for it, not mine. The police are 10 feet away, 5 feet. Marcus must sense something, his posture shifts, he turns. Emily, did you? Police, get on the ground. Everything happens fast. Marcus runs, makes it 3 steps before officers tackle him to the lawn. He doesn't fight, just lies there as they handcuff him, staring up at the sky. Through the window, I hear him say my name once, quietly. Then he's gone, loaded into a cruiser, lights flashing. The street floods with neighbors and questions and chaos. Detective Pierce enters through the back door. You okay? I nod, but I'm not. My hands won't stop shaking. He's going back to jail, she says. And this time we're not taking chances. Federal facility, maximum security, he's done, Emily. But I don't feel relieved, I just feel exhausted. The trials happen 3 months later. Jessica Hammond goes first. She maintains her innocence despite the evidence. claims she thought she was helping a confused man reconnect with an old friend. The jury doesn't buy it. Guilty on all counts, 7 years with possibility of parole after 5. I watch from the gallery as they lead her away. She looks smaller than I remember, ordinary, like someone you'd pass in Target and forget immediately. But she nearly destroyed my life. Marcus Webb's trial is longer. His defense argues mental illness, claimed he didn't understand that his actions were wrong, that he genuinely believed he was pursuing a relationship. The prosecution presents the evidence: the photos, the notebook, the weapons, the detailed planning. The jury deliberates for 6 hours. Guilty: attempted kidnapping, stalking, breaking and entering, possession of weapons with intent to harm. 25 years, no parole eligibility for 15. When the verdict is read, Marcus Webb turns and looks at me, not with anger, with sadness, like I'm the one who failed him. I hold his gaze until the bailiff leads him away. My father flies in for the sentencing. We sit in a diner afterward, the same diner we used to go to when I visited as a kid, red vinyl booths and coffee that tastes like nostalgia. "How are you really doing?" he asks. "I don't know yet." He stirs sugar into his coffee. The spoon clinks against ceramic. That phone call, I think about it every day. What would have happened if I'd been asleep, if I hadn't checked the camera? "Dad, don't. I need to say this, Em. You're alive because I was awake at the right moment, but you're okay because of what you did after. The website, the investigation, standing up to him at the house. That was all you." Tears burn behind my eyes. I blink them back. "I don't feel okay." "You're not supposed to yet, but you will be, eventually." We eat mediocre pancakes and don't talk about Marcus Webb or Jessica Hammond or any of it. We talk about normal things: Mom's garden, my cousin's wedding, the weather. Small things that matter because they're not trauma. Later, I drive to my house. The house I haven't lived in for 4 months. The house that stopped being home the moment I learned someone waited for me there in the dark. My landlord meets me there. "I understand if you want to break the lease early. No penalties." "Thank you, but I'm not ready to decide yet." I walk through the rooms alone. Everything looks the same. New locks, new cameras, same couch, same throw pillows. But different, permanently different. I sit on the couch where Marcus Webb sat, where he waited, where he planned whatever came next. And I realize something. He took my sense of safety, but I took it back. Not by hiding, not by letting fear win, by fighting, by exposing Jessica, by setting a trap, by refusing to be a passive victim in my own story. That's when my phone rings. Not the new phone, the old one, the one I kept deactivated in a drawer as evidence. I haven't touched it in months, but the screen lights up with a voicemail notification. My hands shake as I open it. One new voicemail from an unknown number, left 6 hours ago. I press play. "Hi Emily, this is Sarah Pierce. I'm calling from my personal phone because this isn't official business. I wanted you to know something. Marcus Webb gave an interview from prison today. He talked about you. Said he finally understood what he did wrong. That he sees now how his actions affected you. That he's getting help, therapy, medication. And Emily, he asked me to tell you something. He said, tell Emily I'm sorry. Tell her she was right to run. Tell her she's braver than I ever was." I don't know if that means anything to you, but I thought you should hear it. Take care of yourself. The message ends. I sit in the silence holding my old phone, the one that tracked me, the one that betrayed my location, the one that represents everything that went wrong. And I delete the voicemail. Because I don't need his apology. I don't need his recognition. I don't need anything from Marcus Webb except the distance that already exists between us. I move 6 weeks later. Not far, just to a different neighborhood. A small townhouse with good lighting and better security. Rachel helps me pack. We wrap dishes in newspaper and label boxes with permanent markers. "You sure about this?" she asks. "I'm sure, that house, it'll never feel like mine again, and that's okay. Some things you can't fix by staying." We load the truck ourselves, drive across town, unpack in the new space. My father's warning saved my life, but this move, this is me saving myself. I set up my office in the spare bedroom, hang my favorite prints on the walls, buy new furniture that has no history, no ghosts. The townhouse doesn't feel like home yet, but it feels like possibility. That night I cooked dinner for the first time in months. Real dinner, pasta with homemade sauce, garlic bread, a salad with actual vegetables. Rachel joins me. We eat at my new kitchen table and talk about normal things. Her job, a guy she's seeing, plans for the weekend. No one mentions Marcus Webb or Jessica Hammond or midnight phone calls. We've earned this normalcy. 3 months pass. I return to work full time. My coworkers welcome me back carefully, like I'm made of glass, but I'm not. I'm made of something stronger now, something that bent but didn't break. I take on new projects. Design a website for a nonprofit that helps stalking victims. They don't pay much, but the work matters. I create resources pages, safety guides, a directory of lawyers and therapists who understand trauma. One day, I receive an email from a woman named Sarah. I saw your interview about Jessica Hammond, she writes. She sold my information too. I didn't know until I read about her arrest. I thought my ex-boyfriend just got lucky guessing my new address, but it was her. She gave him everything. I'm pressing charges now. Thank you for speaking up. You gave me courage to do the same. I read the email 3 times. Then I write back. We exchange messages for weeks. She tells her story. I tell mine. We share the weight of what happened to us. And somehow, carrying it together makes it lighter. 2 more women reach out, then 4, then 7. Jessica Hammond's victim count grows. Each testimony adds years to her sentence. Each story proves the prosecution's case that she knew exactly what she was doing. I don't feel satisfaction, just sadness that there were so many of us. But also hope that we all survived. A year passes. I'm sitting in my townhouse on a Tuesday night, same night of the week my father called, same time, 11:47 p.m. But tonight there's no phone call, no warning, no danger. Just me watching Netflix on my couch, eating popcorn, living my life. My security camera sends a notification, motion detected at the front door. My heart rate spikes, old trauma responding before my brain can catch up. I check the app. It's a delivery driver, dropping off a package. He waves at the camera and leaves. I breathe out slowly. This still happens, the sudden fear, the adrenaline, the checking and rechecking locks before bed. My therapist says it's normal. That trauma doesn't just disappear because the threat is gone. That healing isn't linear. Some days I believe her. Tonight I make myself stay on the couch. Don't check the locks again. Don't review camera footage, just trust the system, trust the safety I've built. The package sits on my doorstep until morning. Progress. 18 months after the midnight phone call, I visit my parents. We sit on their back porch drinking iced tea. The sun sets orange and pink. Crickets start their evening symphony. You seem good, Mom says carefully. I am good or getting there. Your father still checks your security cameras. I glance at Dad. He has the grace to look sheepish. I know, I say. I gave him access, it's fine. I just want to make sure, he starts. Dad, I know, thank you. We sit in comfortable silence. That phone call, he says eventually. I still don't know what made me check the camera that night. I wasn't planning to. I just couldn't sleep, had this feeling. Parental intuition. Maybe, or luck, or something else. But Emily, I need you to know something. You surviving that night, that wasn't just because of me. You survived because you're smart, because you answered your phone, because you trusted your gut and turned around. I gave you information, but you saved yourself. My throat tightens. I used to think safety was something external, I say. Good locks, security cameras, avoiding dangerous places. But that's not safety, that's just precaution. Real safety comes from knowing you can handle what comes, that you won't fall apart when the worst happens. Mom reaches for my hand. And you didn't fall apart, she says. I wanted to, some days I still want to, but I didn't. That's strength, sweetheart. We watch the sun disappear below the horizon. 2 years after the midnight phone call, I give a keynote speech. It's a conference for stalking prevention advocates, lawyers, law enforcement, victims' rights groups, 200 people in a hotel ballroom. I'm terrified, but I walk to the podium, adjust the microphone, look at the faces looking back at me. My name is Emily Carter, I begin, and 2 years ago my father saved my life with a phone call. I tell the story, not all of it, just the important parts. The warning, the break-in, the trap, the trials. But this isn't a story about my father, I continue. It's a story about what happens after, about rebuilding safety, about refusing to let someone else's violence define your entire life. I talk about Jessica Hammond, about accomplices who enable stalkers, about the gaps in employment screening and data privacy. We need better laws, I say, better protections, better support for victims who fight back, because fighting back shouldn't require hiring private investigators or building websites or setting traps. It should be as simple as calling the police and trusting they'll handle it. The room is silent. I was lucky, I had resources, I had support. I had a father who happened to be awake at exactly the right moment, but not everyone has that, and they deserve justice too. The applause starts before I finish, loud, sustained. Afterward, people approach me, share their stories, thank me for speaking up. A young woman my age pulls me aside. I have a stalker, she whispers. He's escalating. The police say they can't do anything until he actually commits a crime, but what you said about fighting back, that helped, thank you. I give her my card, resources, lawyers I know, support groups. You're not alone, I tell her, and you're not powerless. She hugs me, cries on my shoulder. I hold her until she's ready to let go. And I realize this is why I survived, to help others survive too. 3 years after the midnight phone call, my father gets sick. Not seriously, just a bad case of pneumonia that lands him in the hospital for a week. I fly home immediately. He looks small in the hospital bed, vulnerable. This man who saved me, who stayed on the phone through the worst night of my life, who checks my security cameras even though I don't live in that house anymore. Don't fuss, he says when I arrive. It's just pneumonia. I'm allowed to fuss. Mom steps out to get coffee. I sit in the chair next to his bed. You know what I thought about last night? Dad says. That phone call, 3 years ago, I almost didn't call you. What? I saw someone on your camera and thought, maybe it's a friend. Maybe you let someone in. I almost dismissed it. Almost went back to bed. My stomach drops. But you didn't. No, something told me to call. Some instinct I can't explain. And Emily, I'm glad I listened. Every single day, I'm glad I listened. Tears spill down my cheeks. I'm glad you called too, Dad. He reaches for my hand. His grip is weak. The IV tugs at his wrist. You're going to be okay, he says. You know that, right? Not because of me, because of you. You're the strongest person I know. I learned from you. No, you already had it. I just answered the phone. 4 years after the midnight phone call, I'm contacted by a documentary filmmaker. She wants to tell stories about stalking survivors, about the gaps in the legal system, about how victims navigate life after. Your story is powerful, she says over Zoom. Would you be willing to participate? I think about it for 3 days. Finally, I say yes. The filming happens over several weeks. They interview me at my townhouse, at my office, at the coffee shop where I now meet clients. They interview Detective Pierce, Rachel, Robert Chen, even my parents. What do you want people to understand? The filmmaker asks during my final interview. I consider the question carefully. I want them to understand that stalking isn't romantic. It's not flattering. It's terrorism. It's someone systematically stripping away your sense of safety until you can't function. And I want them to understand that fighting back doesn't make you vindictive. It makes you human. Do you feel safe now? Most days, some days I still check the locks twice. Some days I still flinch when my phone rings late at night, but I'm learning to separate the past from the present, to trust that I'm okay. Any regrets? About what I did? No. About what happened? Everything. I regret that Marcus Webb existed in my life. that Jessica Hammond sold my information, that I had to become someone who sets traps and builds exposure websites. But I don't regret surviving. I don't regret fighting back. The documentary premieres at a film festival 8 months later. I don't attend, but I watch it when it streams online. Seeing my story told by someone else is strange. They capture the facts, the timeline, the outcome. But they miss something, something I can't quite articulate. The way fear becomes part of your DNA. The way you remember the smell of that 7-Eleven parking lot. The way your father's voice saying, "Don't go home," echoes forever. Those things don't fit in documentaries. Those things live only inside survivors. 5 years after the midnight phone call, I receive a letter. It's forwarded through my lawyer. Standard procedure for any communication from Marcus Webb or Jessica Hammond. The return address shows the federal prison where Marcus Webb serves his sentence. My lawyer calls before I open it. "You don't have to read this, I can screen it for you." What does it say? He's apologizing, again, talking about therapy and rehabilitation, asking if you'd be willing to participate in some restorative justice program. But Emily, you owe him nothing. If you want me to refuse on your behalf, send it to me. Are you sure? I'm sure. The letter arrives 3 days later. I don't open it immediately, just leave it on my kitchen counter. Let it exist there while I decide if I care what it says. 2 days pass. Finally, I open it. The letter is handwritten, 3 pages. His handwriting is surprisingly neat. He apologizes, takes responsibility, explains his mental health journey, talks about understanding healthy boundaries, says he hopes I've found peace. The last paragraph catches me off guard. "I know you'll never forgive me, I don't deserve forgiveness, but I need you to know that you were right about everything. You were right to run, right to expose Jessica, right to set that trap. You were right to fight back. I wish I could take back what I did, but I can't. So instead, I'm trying to make sure I never hurt anyone again. I hope that means something, even if it doesn't change anything." I read the letter 3 times. Then I file it away. I don't respond, don't participate in any restorative justice program, don't engage. Because this isn't about him anymore. It hasn't been for years. This is about me, my life, my healing. And that doesn't require his participation. 5 years and 3 months after the midnight phone call, I meet someone. His name is David. We meet at a coffee shop. He spills his drink. I help him clean it up. We laugh about it. He asks for my number. I hesitate. "I have some stuff in my past," I tell him. "Complicated stuff." "We all have stuff. Mine might be more than you want to deal with. How about we start with coffee and see what happens?" We start with coffee. Then dinner, then a movie, then months of normal dating that feels miraculous because it's so ordinary. I tell him about Marcus Webb on our 6th date. We're walking through a park, the sun is setting. Someone stalked me, broke into my house, got arrested. There was a trial. It's been 5 years, but it still affects me sometimes. David doesn't flinch, doesn't pull away. That sounds terrifying. It is sometimes. I still check locks obsessively. I still get anxious when my phone rings late at night if that's too much. "Emily, I'm not going anywhere." And he doesn't. He meets my parents, tolerates my father checking his background, understands when I need space, never pushes, never demands access to parts of me I'm not ready to share. 6 months in, he tells me he loves me. We're cooking dinner in my townhouse. He's chopping vegetables, I'm stirring sauce. "I love you," he says casually, like it's a simple fact. I freeze. "You don't have to say it back," he adds quickly. "I just wanted you to know. I don't trust easily. As I know. And I might never be the person I was before all this happened. I don't need you to be, I like who you are now." I set down the spoon, turn to face him. "I love you too." His smile could light entire cities. 6 years after the midnight phone call, my father checks my security camera for the last time. Not because I ask him to stop, because he decides he's ready. You're safe, he tells me over Sunday dinner. You've built a good life, you don't need me watching anymore. I never minded. I know, but I need to trust that you're okay, that you'll always be okay, even without me checking. I hug him, this man who saved my life, who taught me to fight back, who showed me what real protection looks like. Thank you, Dad. For what? For answering the phone, for trusting your instinct, for believing I was strong enough to handle everything that came after. He holds me tight. You were always strong enough, I just gave you information, you did everything else. That night, I remove his access to my security system. Not because I don't trust him, because I finally trust myself. 7 years after the midnight phone call, I write this story. Not for publication, not for any documentary, just for me. I write about the phone call, the 7-Eleven parking lot, Marcus Webb on my couch, Jessica Hammond's betrayal, the trap, the trials, all of it. I write about the fear that still lives in my body sometimes, the way I still check over my shoulder, the way I still plan exit routes everywhere I go. But I also write about healing, about therapy and love and normal Tuesday nights where nothing happens. About the strength I found by refusing to be a passive victim. About my father's intuition that saved my life. About learning to be safe not through locks and cameras, but through knowing I can survive whatever comes. When I finish writing, I save the document, lock it with a password, file it away. Maybe someday I'll share it. Maybe it'll help someone else who's standing in a parking lot at midnight, wondering how to survive. But for now, it's just mine. My story, my survival, my proof that I made it through. It's Tuesday night, 11:47 p.m. I'm sitting on my couch, David sleeps upstairs, the house is quiet, safe. My phone doesn't ring. No warnings, no danger, no midnight calls that change everything. Just a normal Tuesday. The kind I dreamed about during those early days when everything felt impossible. I think about Marcus Webb in prison, Jessica Hammond serving her sentence, the women I've helped through my advocacy work, the documentary that aired last year, the life I've built from the wreckage. And I think about my father's voice on the phone 7 years ago. Do not go home. 3 words that saved my life. But here's what I've learned. He saved my life that night, but I saved myself every day after. By refusing to hide, by exposing the truth, by setting the trap, by speaking out, by helping others, by learning to trust again. By choosing every single day to survive. I don't think about Marcus Webb often anymore. When I do, it's not with fear or anger, just a distant awareness that he existed in my story but doesn't define it. My phone sits on the coffee table, silent, safe. I pick it up and call my father. He answers on the second ring. Emily, everything okay? Everything's fine, I just wanted to say thank you. For what? For answering your phone 7 years ago, for trusting your instinct, for saving my life. Oh, sweetheart, his voice cracks, you don't need to thank me. I do because that phone call gave me a chance, and I took it. I took it and built something good from it. You did, you really did. I love you, Dad. I love you too. We talk for 20 minutes about normal things. His garden, Mom's book club, plans for Thanksgiving. Normal, safe, ordinary. When we hang up, I sit in my quiet house and feel something I couldn't feel 7 years ago. Peace. Not because the danger is gone, danger is always possible. But because I know now that I can face it, that I have the strength to survive whatever comes. That I'm not defined by what happened to me, but by how I chose to heal. I turn off the lights, lock the doors once, not twice. Walk upstairs to bed where David sleeps peacefully. Climb in next to him, feel the warmth of another person who chose to love me despite my scars. And I sleep. No nightmares, no fear, no checking security cameras at 3 a.m. Just sleep. Deep, dreamless, safe. Because I finally understand what my father's midnight warning really gave me. Not just life, but the chance to reclaim it. And I did.